Hello and welcome. With the Bharatiya Janata Party sweeping in 3 states of the state polls that are currently underway, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the headquarters of the Bharatiya Janata Party in New Delhi. He is all set to address the supporters who have gathered at the party headquarters for hours now. And the party leaders have been anticipating his visit and his address since the numbers of the result numbers have been coming in from all the 4 states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Telangana. Now, one of the running themes we have noticed in the 3 states that we are talking about here, that are Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, all 3 states, interestingly, do not have a chief ministerial face for the Bharatiya Janata Party. However, BJP is projected to win in all the 3 states according to the polls that we have been showing you all day here on WION. And that is being attributed to the Narendra Modi factor. In fact, interestingly, when I had visited Jaipur just 2 weeks back while the campaigning was on for the Rajasthan state polls, I had attended Narendra Modi's rally there in Jaipur, and while speaking to the people who attended there, if not all, most of them had a running theme in why they were there, and they were there not just for the state party there of BJP, but also majorly for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his aura and his personality that they kept talking about. And we saw that transpiring in the results of these 3 states as well. Especially in Chhattisgarh, which was a bit of a shocker for some people. The Bharatiya Janata Party is set to reclaim Chhattisgarh just 5 years after being voted out of power in December of 2018. Now, just for a little background, the state voted on November 7th and 17th and recorded about 76.31% voter turnout over the 2 phases. Just 5 years ago, Chhattisgarh had elected its first non-BJP government in 15 years. The Congress stormed to power with 68 seats in the 90-member assembly. Out of the 4 states, Chhattisgarh is one that has surprised the political gurus the most.
और देश के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी आज इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित.
Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Tavleen Singh to decode the election developments. She is joining us live from Mumbai. She is a political commentator. Ms. Singh, if you could please decode the India today for us, where voters are more wooed about Narendra Modi's personality and less about the welfare schemes that their state government might be offering. What do you make of that?
I don't agree with you. I think that it's the delivery of welfare schemes, with great efficiency, that has actually made the difference. So it's not about, I think that the voters these days are very aware of what they can get from politicians. So, charisma and all that sort of thing has its place, but certainly it is because there has been a delivery of, of welfare schemes with an efficiency that was never there during Congress times that I think has made the difference.
All right, since you say that you disagree, would you also disagree with the Modi factor that is playing out in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan at the moment?
Well, it's not just the Modi factor. It is the fact that Shivraj Singh Chauhan has managed to implement programs in Madhya Pradesh that voters have liked. I think that if it was just the Modi factor, then, it would have been a different story. Of course, there's the Modi factor, but it isn't only the Modi factor. I think that in state elections, what makes the biggest difference is governance at the local level.
Speaking of governance in the local level, as you say, you spoke about Shivraj Singh Chauhan as well, but we also can see Vasundhara Raje. All of these leaders, very senior leaders of BJP, have been were actually sidelined for quite some time, and all we could hear from the BJP was collective leadership in the three states. In view of that, what do you make of BJP's strategy when it comes to collective leadership?
I think it's a very good idea. Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Vasundhara Raje have been chief minister Vasundhara more than twice, and Shivraj Singh Chauhan for 20 years. And I think what the BJP was trying to offer voters was, was a program and the possibility of younger leaders. That's a very good strategy.
All right. Still, the voting is currently underway, but the picture is expected to remain more or less the same. I have two questions here. One, what should Congress learn from this? And two, what course correction are you expecting in the next 5 to 6 months?
I think that what the Congress party has to learn from this is, one, that the BJP has gone way ahead of it in terms of managing an election, in terms of, of actually getting people to come out there and vote. And also, I think what the Congress party needs to learn is that their narrative is not a selling point anymore, and that it hasn't changed since 2014. In 2014, we had the same charges of corruption against the Prime Minister personally. It didn't work then. In 2019, they tried to say that there was money made on the Rafale deal, again, charging the Prime Minister personally with corruption. It didn't work. It's not something that the voters have bought. So why they've tried it a third time is puzzling, because it obviously means that they haven't actually considered what the mistakes of the past were and how they can be rectified. The other thing is that I think that the Congress structure at the a party has to have workers that can work literally from the panchayat upwards when it comes to an election like this. And I think that structure collapsed a long time ago, and that the Congress party, instead of building it, had these, these very kind of television-friendly gimmicks, which really don't make that much, you can't win an election on social media. You've got to actually have people on the ground who are going to deliver for you. And I think that the Congress party has not built its structure up again, that it sort of broke down a long time ago because they had a very darbari system of politics. And, if you were in the darbar in Delhi, you got a ticket. So people who really were doing the work did not get it. And the structure never got built.
All right. Ms. Singh, you have lauded the BJP for managing the elections well. You have a fair point given the results we are seeing today. India is just 5-6 months away from national elections. Judging by not just today's trends, but overall, do you think BJP's win is sealed for 2024?
Well, I'm just a political analyst, not a prophet. So I don't want to go with that kind of prediction, because you can go very wrong, as we know from the last time that the states were all won by non-BJP chief ministers. And then when it came to the Lok Sabha election, the exact opposite happened. So I really don't want to go there.
All right, ma'am. So is this election a testimony to the BJP's organizational strength? Lots of learning for the Congress, won't you say?
Yes, I just, I'm going to repeat what I just said, which is that the Congress party has to rebuild the structure of the party. It's, leaders at the top coming in, flying in and election campaigning and then making little memes on Twitter and all that kind of thing is at one level. But the real work, the reason why I don't accept that only Narendra Modi has won the election is because without that party structure, he wouldn't have been able to win. Nobody can. And the BJP has been very conscious of that and has built a very strong election machine, which I'm sorry that the Congress party has not managed to do.
Right. Missing women voters are suddenly emerging as very decisive for the BJP party. Do you think this will pan out even in the national level, given that even in Rajasthan, if we see, or for that matter, even in Chhattisgarh, the women voters actually comprise 50% of the electoral vote?
Yeah, well, you see, I think that the women vote is very much more important than it was in earlier elections. And the fact that there have been schemes that have transferred money directly into women's bank accounts has made a huge difference. So I think that the women's voter will make a big difference even in the general election.
All right. The results also reflect the dynasty politics, as some analysts would point out. Congress is losing out in the Hindi heartland and BRS in Telangana. What do you make of that?
I've always opposed dynasty in politics. I've written a book about that. And I really believe that one of the things that has held the Congress back from, that has prevented it from changing is because they keep relying on the dynasty at the top, and then about 80% of their MPs all come from political families. Now, when that happens, you keep out really good people because you're there because of your name and not because of the work that you would do. That you come into politics not to do public service, which should be the aim of politics, but only to sort of feather your own nest or to make sure that your constituency is passed down like an heirloom. And I think it's that in Telangana, KCR did make this mistake. I think there are about 5 members of his family were there in his cabinet. I don't think that is, good policy. And I think that the reason why Modi shines in comparison is because of this, because, his family has not been around and he's been prime minister for 10 years now.
Right. Speaking of Modi's shine that you talk about, I want to ask you, how do these election results actually reflect Rahul Gandhi as a leader, given that we keep pitting him against BJP's Narendra Modi, and also in the national elections we are going to see the India alliance coming together? How do you see that?
Well, Rahul Gandhi will have to accept that he's been projected too much as the leader that can take on Narendra Modi. These results indicate that he is not that leader, and that the Congress party will have to be a little more humble in its dealing with the other members of the India alliance. So, I think that they have to re-examine the projection of Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi as the 2 big leaders of the India alliance. And they haven't been very compromising with the others when it came to seats, etc. They're going to have to learn to do that a bit more, and they've got to learn a little humility.
All right. There are 2 types of debates that are currently going on, because we keep bouncing to the next year's general election, of course, because that is the finale, as they say, and this is the semi-final. While some might say that state elections don't actually have a direct bearing on how national elections might pan out, but others also see how trends might actually reflect and continue for the next 5-6 months. Which side of the debate are you on?
I just already answered that question. I said to you that I didn't want to make a prediction for the general election, because last time around, these very states that have now gone to the BJP went to opposition parties, if you remember. And then when it came to the general election, the BJP won as well as they possibly could in these states. So, it's not that...
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm not asking you to make a prediction. No, not at all. I'm just asking you, how do you see, would you agree that in terms of the voters also, the results that we see as state elections actually have any kind of bearing when viewers see it or voters see it in the national election? That's what I'm asking. I'm not asking you to make any kind of prediction here.
Okay, that's when the Modi factor actually comes in, because there's no question that the Prime Minister campaigned strenuously in these state elections and that his campaign made a difference. So if, when we analyze the results and see how much effect Modi's personal campaign has had, that will translate into a bigger campaign next year.
All right, Ms. Singh, thank you so much for speaking with us here on WION and decoding Indian politics for us. Thank you.
Thank you.